We're celebrating our 100th anniversary. We've been planning for this celebration for probably 2.5, 3 years. We're celebrating 100 years, all because of the foresight of families from St. Lawrence Parish and 10 other parishes in the west side of Cincinnati who had the foresight to think we need a high school for our kids.
People want to stay connected to Elder High School because of its history. Just thinking back at the time being the Depression and what they came out of, you know, when Elder was a 2-year school based out of St. Lawrence, and the families wanted something more for their children. And all of a sudden you've got teachers and parents and students physically building this place. And they had a can-do, will-do attitude. I just think people attach to that. They want to be a part of that.
When I started at Elder in 1968, our athletic director was Father Edward Rudemiller, affectionately known as Father Rudy. And he would often say, "We have a great tradition here, something to believe in."
And I can tell you, as a kid, all I wanted to do was to go to Elder High School.
I always grew up coming to Elder games on Friday nights, like Grandpa and friends. I always wanted to come to Elder. You know, it was always just this larger than life kind of school for me.
Elder was the only choice, I mean, really, but it was a good choice, you know. From being in grade school and going to games and things like that, you couldn't wait to be a part of this.
Just living on the west side, when I moved to Cincinnati before I met my husband, there's purple everywhere. You can't escape the purple.
We have a Purple Friday. I don't know of any other school that has such a day like that. And again, it's worldwide. You take a Bill Hemmer, class of '83 with Fox News, he wears a purple tie every Friday.
My school's so great that they started this program called the Elder News Network, ENN, which I'm a big supporter of, because I think that's the way the school can really communicate its message to not just its students and parents, but its alums who live all over the world and stay in contact with the school and want a moment in their day to be reminded of something that's going on at a high school that they graduated from and came to love and they were shaped by in their life.
Being a part of this community, it's like walking into the bar Cheers and you're Norm. Everybody yells, "Norm!"
Evening, everybody.
Norm! Just everybody knows your name. And even the guys who move away and come back. I mean, this is home. There's something to be said about your roots. And when people come back, they feel like they're back in high school again.
The best friends you have, the family, and of course with so many people continuing to live around here. That wasn't my story, you know, it's who I am and where I'm from, but I still feel like I've never left, and I think that you just always want to be a part of that.
There's a band of brothers here. Once you're a graduate of Elder High School, no matter where you go, that purple color, you know, that band, the relationships you build, like that's one of the most favorite things I have at Elder High School.
You know, the bonds created in these halls are forever, and my group of guys are proof positive of that. I love how we're still best friends now, 30 years later. The bond is strong and it continues, and I love it. I love that part of Elder.
It's a momentous occasion to celebrate 100 years, especially when we're talking about a building. You see a lot of school districts that are tearing their buildings down after 30 years, stadiums being torn down after 30 years. We're 100 years old, and people will walk into this building today and say, wow, this is awesome. This has been kept up.
The first thing when I come back, I go and I look at the football field. I think that is the most iconic high school football field in the country.
Well, the perception of Elder athletics in the community obviously depends on who you ask, but you know you've been in a dogfight when you play Elder.
Inside the final seconds to go, and St. Ed's is just going to let the clock run out, and the Elder Panthers run onto the field as time runs to zeros, and for the second straight year, the Elder Panthers are living the dream.
Quite often, teams set goals to win a state championship, but you have to be realistic. That is such a rare thing. We got them all in one trophy case downstairs, but that's not what you shoot for. You shoot for the development of the whole person.
You know, we're a Catholic school, and we continue to ingrain that in our students, the Catholic faith.
It's all about the growth, and it's the growth of spirituality that makes such a difference in such young lives.
There's the annual toy drive, the food can drive, there's the walk for Elder. There's a lot of activities that the students do outside of the classroom that benefit other people. And I think that's very Christ-like and very Christian.
It was neat to come to a school, it was challenging to come to a school, all males, and I've mentioned it, very demanding, but they treated us like men. And they treated us and talked to us like men. And we realized if we messed up, we would also be treated like young men.
Elder does a great thing with young people. These kids come in scared and they're like baby lambs or something, and next thing you know, they're ready for whatever you can throw at them. I think Elder's awesome in that respect.
I have such a cool perspective now getting to see my son, who's a freshman here. What Elder does, I think, fantastically, is take and get the most out of every single child and their potential.
It's a place where I've had the opportunity to push myself to my limits, both academically and outside of the classroom. And being able to do that while in high school and kind of figure out, where I fit best and what I'd really like to do.
Knowing who my son is and knowing who he was when he stepped foot in these doors, he's a better person than he was when he entered. And I hope that no matter what he chooses to do in life, he knows that Elder is a home, and it's something that he will look back and have such appreciation because he got to be a part of this community, this family.
I often, as an administrator, often think, what if we didn't hit Elder High School? Where would these kids go? We cannot lose sight of what Elder High School has done since 1923 and hopefully another 100 years. They've just been a pillar of the community and it's still perceived that way.
Our school motto has always been Altior, to strive for the higher things. That was taught from day one in 1922, and we are still teaching that here in 2023.
Good.
Can I go home now?